Hello, this is Dr. Lewerenz, Longevity Health Institute, October 1st, 2020. And I thought we would bring this in it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as always in October. And I thought I'd do some segments here on my YouTube channel that actually goes through a lot of things like that are very key and something very common here in a functional medicine practice and a wellness preventative based practice that can not only save your life and save lives, but also impact quality and less treatment. God forbid you were diagnosed with breast cancer. So let me tell you about some things, some basics and things that are very important in breast health, breast health and breast cancer prevention, and but also some things that, you know, they're kind of basic, but they're also things that are very, very key to be mindful of, that can be looked at and not just a wait and see, and is your breast health a ticking time bomb. So very key thing is this, hormones, and you hear all of this stuff, you know, good and bad about hormones, but also still bad about hormones. You hear these things, is hormones are not the enemy, okay? They do not cause cancer. There is receptors in each individual's breast, that is progesterone and estrogen, and there's certain dominance and expression of those based on the individual and genetics. And I'll talk in a minute about genetics and things that we do for prevention and screening of breast cancer. But I want you to know that hormones aren't the enemy, and you got to get that thought out of your head. Now, caveats. If you have been on synthetic hormones and you have been on an oral estrogen replacement, I advise against that, and to be either off those and make sure that you see somebody like ourselves here at Longevity Health Institute, and my practitioners, me, will help you, or a doctor in your area, or somebody that can actually help you get rid of these bad metabolites of bad estrogens and hormones that can be fuel to a cell that is abnormal or dysplastic and potentially be turning into a cancer. So again, hormones are not the enemy, okay? I will tell you two main things, and then little things that are big things that are big effects on cancer in breast tissue. And that is stress, and this is all cancers, your adrenal gland, and stress responses, and emotional, psychological stressors. But your body, you've heard me say this in other videos before, your body knows no difference in stress, whether it's psychological, emotional, physical, physiologic, okay? So working out too much, or having a bad relationship and something that might be manipulative, or you're living with somebody that's passive aggressive, or you have a friend or a family member that brings you down, okay? Those are things that cause stress in your body at a pituitary adrenal level. It all starts here, okay? Be aware of that, okay? And that has a huge, huge, huge impact on your immune system, as well as obviously your wellness and how you feel. But even gene expression is a lot based on your mindset and how you think, okay? But again, hormones are not the enemy. Stress is. The other thing, and what can cause stress, is decreased sleep. Many studies show that a good sleep creates a good immune response. You make good hormones like growth hormone. You detoxify in a good sleep pattern. You make more cortisol and adrenal, so you have a good, efficient gas tank of fuel of cortisol, and you have a stress response, okay? So stress is an enemy. Hormones aren't, okay? So be aware and mindful of that. And it all starts there with self-care and self-love. And I'm going to cover a little bit of that at the end of the video, how important that is. The other thing is a toxic world and a toxic environment. And part of that is us. We're the environment, okay? What's in us? What's being trapped in us? Do we methylate and detoxify well? Do our livers work well? Do our kidneys work well? What are we exposed to? Do we have heavy metals in us? Are we using a lot of plastics and BPAs? Do we have these exposures in our world in foods and hormones and antibiotics and things that we consume. So, going forward in a preventative mode, get rid of the junk and get rid of bad habits and lifestyles that actually are fuels and feeders, okay, and is a big reason why we're seeing extrapolated numbers of breast cancer as well as other cancers in the world, and especially America. So you need a good detoxifying liver, and you need to be less toxic and have less body burden of toxins, okay? Many things we use and put on our body and inhale and breathe and are around and exposed to are carcinogens. All you have to do is read them and look them up, and they're on the labels, okay? So be aware of that, and those are cancer causing. Now, hormones in an imbalance can be fuels, okay? But you need good estrogen, good progesterone, good testosterone, good adrenal hormones, good DHEA, etc., okay, to have a good immune response and good breast health and breast tissue, okay? So that is very important, but they're not the enemy. Now let's talk about a few things, and in this introductory breast cancer awareness video, I want you to know of a few things that are very key early in life that then can cause an increase in your chances, again, just chances, of developing later in life a sex hormone cancer like a breast cancer potentially, or an ovarian cancer. And that is, there is an increased risk when you're younger and teens, early 20s, 30s even, when you have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Why is this? Well, because you express more and secrete more testosterone, and through your liver, testosterone will convert to estrogen, and you become more estrogen dominant. Estrogen dominance, that imbalance in hormone, actually then will cause more estrogen to have to be detoxified through your liver, and in your estrogen metabolites, you will have some negative estrogens. The ratios of 16 alpha estrone and 4-hydroxyestrone are metabolites that are very important to be measured and quantified, because they are feeders, not the cause, but they are feeders to negative breast tissue, okay, and can feed a breast cancer, okay? So these are things that can be measured. So when you're younger, or even if you're middle-aged or 30s and you've had PCOS, yes, you're at a slight risk in your life of breast cancer, and you have to be aware of this. The other thing is, anything that can create estrogen dominance can also make you a little bit higher risk of breast cancer. So things like endometriosis, fibroids, obesity, okay, carrying a little extra weight, and we can do that a bit, but when we become 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds overweight, we hold estrogenic effects in our fat. And when you look at ratios in urine and saliva, and often even blood, the ratios of estrogen, progesterone, and even testosterone are way off. You're estrogen dominant, and that is bad. Now, I said this earlier in the video, and I want you to be aware of it, is that, yes, I said get off of your synthetic oral estrogens, or even bioidentical oral pill form estrogens, because they go through your liver and you increase your metabolites. I saw this today in the office, somebody that had all these negative effects, was on about 6 years of hormone replacement, bioidenticals, but oral. Oral testosterone, oral estrogen through your liver is going to metabolize to estrone. You don't want that, okay? And it increases your risks. Common other thing that we want to be aware of is the genetics. Now, genetics have very small expression, believe it or not. It's the epigenetics. You've heard me talk about this in other videos. If you haven't watched that, please do on the YouTube channel. But here's the thing is that you want to make sure that you don't have potentially a BRCA1 or BRCA2. Now, these genes can increase your chances of expressing a breast cancer. They don't cause the breast cancer. You can have the gene your whole life and actually never have breast cancer. But these are easy tests now and very affordable. We actually have a 34 cancer genetic screening panel through Ambry Laboratory Genetics that actually look at these genes. And if you have them, yes, you're increased risk, and we'll go over those, and we'll look at your whole picture about your gut health and your immune system, and are you detoxifying, and what's your diet and lifestyle, and what's your mindset, and what's your stress level, because that's what's very important. And remember, as I wrap this up, early detection is everything. Now, I believe in thermograms and thermoscans, and I had a video recently that I did on this that are eminently important and way more sensitive and pick up cancers earlier. You just have to be aware that are a little bit oversensitive, and so you have to know who's reading it, and you have to have a functional, personalized doctor that understands how they work, okay? I'm not against mammograms, ultrasounds, MRIs, they're very valuable, but thermoscans are, I think, the way to go as an early screening and detection, and have never failed us. And I'm going to tell you that they catch a lot of early cancers. If you catch an early breast cancer, okay, stage 0, guess what you're getting? A lumpectomy, no cancer, no chemotherapy, no radiation. That's the goal. The goal is not to have the cancer, and that's what we do here in prevention. But early detection is everything, so that you're not having a really difficult time going through some chemotherapy and radiation. And even if your 5-year survival is excellent, okay, early detection shows that your 5-year survival is nearly 100%, okay? So very important. Now, I said this earlier, and I'm going to wrap it up. Key thing, and I'm going to talk about other key aspects in my videos coming on part 2 and part 3 of breast cancer awareness, because this is October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and that is your mindset. Please be aware. I saw this 3 times today. Had to give patients hugs and really share some things of my own experience, as well as thousands of patients we've seen over the last several decades. And that is that your lifestyle, including the people around you, and how you live and how you care for yourself, hugely affects you at an immune level and a cancer level. Okay, I've seen it. I've lived it here. I've seen the good and I've seen the bad. And I have to tell you that it all starts with self-love and self-care, which is honoring a good thing, okay? Meaning, when you're coming from a good place and you're taking care of yourself, you're eating well, you're loving the environment and yourself, you're exercising, you're moving your body, you're loving your friends and family and children and spouse and loved ones, okay? But you're doing things with good intent, but you're caring for yourself and carving out time, whether it's 45 minutes or an hour a day or whatever, but you're filling your cup, okay? Then your cup runneth over for others, meaning your spouse, your children, so you're not yelling at your children, and you're not, arguing and, nipping at your spouse for not taking out the trash or leaving a cup out or whatever, okay? Reflect on self and how you can feel better and grateful and loved, and love yourself first. Why? It creates a good immunity. I promise you, it will create a good immune response, because that affects your pituitary, which then affects your adrenals and the whole body. So I hope this is informative. I don't want to be too windy and too long here. We're going to have other parts coming up this month in October on breast cancer. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. Look us up on longevityhealthinstituteinc.com. We're always open for new patients, and if you need assistance in finding a practitioner in your area, sometimes we can help you with that. But it all starts with a personalized medical approach that comes from functionality, okay? And share this, please, even out of state, share this with others. Why? Because you're serving others well, to be in a good intent in focusing on what is the problem, not just a Band-Aid. So this is Dr. Lewerenz, Longevity Health Institute. Be well and do what needs to be done this month for breast cancer. Take care.